So a 10-year-old girl is about to accurately predict one of the deadliest disasters in history. Now, the girl's name is Tilly, and like I said, she's 10 years old and she's living in England. And one day in 2004, her parents tell her, "We're going on vacation in Thailand." And Tilly, she's all excited and she's like, "Oh, fucking Thailand?" And so she and her family flies to Thailand. And when they arrive, it's such a cool place, and like the beach is nice, the water's nice. It looks like they're gonna have the perfect vacation. But then, a few days later, Tilly's walking along the beach with her family, and she notices something weird. She notices the water doesn't look as nice as it did before. In fact, it looks foamy and strange as the water near the beach is starting to bubble and swirl. Here's a picture of what foamy ocean water looks like, and yeah, it looks odd. And so Tilly's parents, they don't say anything about it. I'm not sure if they even notice. But that is when, boom, Tilly has a horrible realization. Because she had learned about this in school. So she turns to her parents and she says, "This is what the water looks like right before a tsunami hits. A tsunami is coming." And her parents are like, "Huh? What now?" And Tilly's like, "A tsunami! A giant wave that's gonna kill everyone on the beach." And Tilly looks around and she sees about 100 other people there chilling on the beach as well. And so she yells, "We're all gonna die unless we leave now." But Tilly's parents have no idea what she's talking about, so her dad says, "Calm down, Tilly. Everything's fine. Come on, let's keep walking." And they just keep walking along the beach. But what they don't know is that Tilly's actually right. Underneath the Indian Ocean, something crazy just happened. A tectonic plate has ruptured, causing a shift in the ocean floor, and therefore a massive earthquake. In fact, it's the most powerful earthquake ever recorded in Asia. The energy released is equivalent to 23,000 atomic bombs. And so that atomic bomb energy is suddenly released into the ocean, and it's created what is about to become the deadliest tsunami in history. And that tsunami is heading right toward Tilly and her family at 500 miles an hour. Now, unfortunately, it's 2004, and they don't have iPhone alerts to warn everyone. In fact, during this time, there's no tsunami warning system in place for the entire Indian Ocean. The only warning this beach is gonna get is from Tilly, the 10-year-old. But unfortunately, no one's listening to her. And so, Tilly's parents are still walking along, and she keeps trailing behind them as they walk, and she keeps yelling, "Stop! I know what's gonna happen! We have to leave now!" But they just keep ignoring her. And finally, Tilly gets so mad that pow, she sits down on the sand. And she's like, "I'm not moving until you listen to me." And Tilly's dad is like, "Oh, Jesus, Tilly." And her mom's like, "She's just being dramatic." And her dad's like, "Fine, will it make you feel better if we go talk to a security guard?" Meanwhile, the water is pulling away from the shore, receding back and back and back. This tsunami's about to get big. And so Tilly's dad, he is going to take her to find a security guard. And Tilly begs her mom, "Please, you have to come with us. If you stay here, you won't survive." But mom refuses. So she stays by the water while Tilly and her dad walk toward the hotel to find a security guard. And so her dad finds a hotel security guard just off the beach. And he says, "Look, you probably think I'm bonkers, but my daughter's convinced that there's gonna be a tsunami." Then, right in that moment, a Japanese man is walking by. And he overhears them talking, and he recognizes the word tsunami. And he seems to be the only adult around who even knows what a tsunami is. And he says, "Hey, I think your daughter might be right." And so the guard and Tilly's dad are finally like, "Oh, shit!" So bam, the guard springs into action, and he starts evacuating everyone from the beach. "Get out of here! There's a tsunami!" While Tilly's dad frantically waves to her mom, trying to get her to come inland. And soon, everyone is off the beach, except for Tilly's mom, who's the last one walking towards them with her slow ass. And that is when they finally see it, a 30-foot giant wall of water barreling toward them. Now here's the thing about tsunamis. A tsunami is not one giant wave. It's actually a series of giant waves, one after another. And so this 30-foot wall of water is only the first of many to come. And so Tilly yells, "Run!" And everyone panics, and she and her parents start running away, running for their lives. And now everyone can see the massive wall of water rushing towards them. and kaboom! The water slams into the shore, ripping through everything, and people are running away and they're screaming in horror. While water just plows through the coast and it blasts past palm trees and it floods into town, going further and further inland. And buildings and hotels and luxury resorts are getting all smashed up and flooded with water. In some areas, tourists who are just there enjoying their vacation are completely caught off guard when kaboom, a bunch of waves start hitting. So now, suddenly, they're all struggling for survival, trying to find anything to hold on to prevent the current from washing them away. Because if they get caught up in this rushing water, they'll drown. And you can see this guy here, he's like holding on to a bunch of trees, and there's like a young girl here holding on to, looks like a telephone pole. Some people are just like chilling in their hotels when suddenly, bam, the whole room fills up with water. And if your room was on the first floor, oh, you're f***ed. And a lot of these people, unfortunately, they don't make it out in time. But the people who did are desperate to get to higher ground, but they can't, and they get swept away because the waves are just too powerful. In fact, the force of the water is so strong, it washes away everything. Even whole-ass cars are getting washed away in this flood. And so the tsunami continues, and more waves just keep coming. And the water just tears down buildings, and it sends them flying into what is now the ocean. And it demolishes anything in its path like a bulldozer. Not only that, it's bringing that stuff with it, like it's filling the water with debris like furniture and glass and rocks and TVs and lumber from buildings. All that can hit you, it can cut you open, it can knock you out. Here is a guy getting swept up in it, and he disappears for a bit, you can see, and here you can see that luckily he is able to pull himself out. And so people who weren't warned, who are like in the water, they get carried away sometimes for miles before they're able to pull themselves out. And they get separated from their families, like their families don't even know if they're alive because, again, it's 2004, not everyone has a cell phone. And so thousands upon thousands of people are swept underwater and they're never seen again. And it's not just Thailand, where Tilly is, that gets hit. This tsunami destroys the coastlines of 14 different countries, turning towns from looking like this to looking like this. And this ends up being one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history, killing around 230,000 people. And as for Tilly, she and her parents run to their hotel and they just barely make it to a high floor moments before waves hit. And without her warning, everyone on that beach they were on would have lost their lives. But because she was stubborn and insistent, that beach they were on is one of the only beaches with 0 fatalities. She literally saved the lives of her parents and all other 100 people on the beach that day. And she became a hero, and she was named Angel of the Beach by the media. And here's actually a picture of Tilly in real life holding an award that she received for her heroism. And I bet her parents will listen to her from here on out now, won't they?